Okay. All right. Welcome to the very first Play Sound session. So this is going to be a 10-week program, free right in the Let's Talk Toddler Facebook group. Every week, Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern, I'll be going live just like this to share some ideas, some activities, some fun things you can do with your child to encourage them to use a early speech sound. So this series is really geared towards early talkers to toddlers maybe who are still babbling or just starting to say some words, who are a little bit behind with their talking. Okay. Um, as we go here, I will make sure that everyone gets tagged who asked to be tagged. Just a few housekeeping things here since this is our first one. Um, there are a lot of reasons why a child may be a late talker. It's not all about making the speech sounds. So, what we're talking about here is kind of a small slice of the pie. That said, even if your child already can make the sound that we're talking about that week, you're going to find other nuggets in what we're discussing that is going to be helpful for you and your child. Because even though we're going to be talking about ways to encourage your child to use certain sounds, we're also going to be talking about ways to connect with your child, new ways that you can um, get their attention, teach them something new, interact, connect, have that really valuable positive language stimulation with them. So I don't want you to say, oh, my child already says the M sound. I don't need to listen to this. Listen in. Give yourself the challenge of incorporating a few of the activities that we talk about each week. Um, Make that special time with you and your child, time to connect, time to focus in on the sounds that you're making, to encourage. One thing I don't want you to do with these activities is to make them a chore for you or your child. So these are fun things. These are things you can work into your play, your everyday interactions. Um, you don't have to set aside special time to sit at a table and do these things. Okay, this is supposed to be fun. And for your child, we're not going to um, force them or really strongly pressure them to be making these sounds. They will do it when they are ready, but you can provide opportunities. You can provide stimulation. You can provide modeling so that they understand, so they're able to start making those connections between the sounds that we make, the way that we make them, and the meaning that they hold. Okay? Um, so let's get started for today. Now, when we think about what words we might want to be practicing with our little ones, um, you want to think about things that are really personally meaningful for your child, right? Words that are part of their everyday routines, their favorite people, their favorite foods, their favorite toys, places that you go, things that are really relevant to them. You also want to be thinking about using words that are functional or useful. Um, it's not that important for a 2-year-old to tell you what color something is or what shape something is, right? It's more important to be able to say something like stop, no, or more, or go, or hot, or off. Um, we want to think about words that will help our child have their needs met, help them get their point across, limit that frustration. So, the words that I've chosen to focus on for some of these activities are things that are going to be really useful for your child. Lastly, we want to talk about words that are concrete. So, by that, I mean kind of observable, things that your child can see and understand. We don't want to use words that are really more abstract or difficult to connect the meaning with, okay? So, they're just kind of some general principles that I considered as I was coming up with the words for this series. All right, so let's jump into some fun activities that you can do with your child to encourage the sound. And remember, even if they're already doing the sound, the M sound, it's okay. These are still great things you can do with your kid. Okay, so the most by far important M word that every mom wants to hear is mama, right? I actually did a poll in the group when the group was like very young, maybe 3 years ago. And I asked what word, mama or dada, kids said first, and it was like 85% dada. So if your little one is saying dada for everything, but you haven't heard mama yet, don't worry, it'll come. It's very normal. My kids also, all three of them, said dada first. So I have my theories on that, but that's for another video. Um, so mama. How do you teach your child to say mama? Now, in the Toddler Communication Accelerator, my 3-month program for parents, there is a whole um, module on how to teach your child to say mama. There are 6 activities for that. There are books, there are songs, there are ideas on the pronunciation. There's so many things in that program. I'm just going to give you one quick idea here. Okay, this is more of an informal conversation about these sounds. So if you want to teach a child to say mama and really get that sound going, try a hiding game, right? So this is best done if you have another adult or an older child who can help you. But basically, mama is just going to go hide either under a blanket or behind a couch, and mama's going to pop out and go, mama! Really fun like that. This is a hit, let me tell you. Most kids love this. Is their favorite person, and they're gone and then they're back. It's the best. So you can do it just under a blanket, mama, or you can hide behind something and pop out. Now that third person can be really helpful to model we're getting the lips together again for that sound, right? Where's mama? Mama, mama. And then mama pops out, mama. So give that one a try. It's super fun and really engaging with your little one. Okay, that was our first activity for the M sound. The next one is so simple, and this is great for kids who aren't quite ready to start copying words, but they're noticing the sounds that you're making and maybe are at the level where they're able to start copying some sounds. So for this one, you can do it when you're eating real food, when you're having a pretend picnic, playing in the pretend kitchen, and all you're going to do is right? See how I'm making the M sound, but I'm also conveying that something is yummy, right? So you're going to really exaggerate that your lips are together. You're going to maybe make your voice go up and down, like a little song. Maybe rub your tummy a little bit. And you can say yummy, yummy if you want to. But that little fun sound can be a great way to practice the sound. Now I'm going to teach you another technique to maybe encourage a child or give them the opportunity to try this sound as well. So let's say you're playing, with pretend food and you have a little cupcake and you go yum yum yum, and then maybe you hand it to your child and you pause. Okay, so you're going to play with it, you're going to pass it, and you're going to pause. I call it play, pass, pause. So give that one a try. It just shows your toddler that you have an expectation that they do something, that they don't necessarily have to make the sound. We're not going to say say because what fun is that, right? We're just going to give them the opportunity, give them a little bit of empty space so that they have a chance to make that sound as well. Okay, so we have our mama, we have our another great M word that is often very early and can drive you insane, but it's a really important one, is mine. I very clearly remember when my oldest started saying mine, and let me tell you, everything was his apparently. But it's a great word. It's so functional. It helps your toddler be able to communicate that they want something, and it's better to hear mine than to hear screaming and yelling, right? So a great way to model that idea of mine, and we're practicing our sound again. If you're playing with cars, for example, that go down a ramp, or maybe you have one of those ball and hammer sets where the ball goes down a ramp, when it comes out, you're going to playfully say mine. You know your child best. If this is going to upset them, if they're going to go off and be mad that it's not theirs, don't do it, right? These are all just suggestions. You know your child best. But that's a great way to practice mine. Now listen, we don't want our children grabbing for things and saying mine all the time, but we're talking about very young children who are really just learning to express themselves. it's okay to model that simple language that would be more likely what they would do, right? A 2-year-old is not going to say, may I have that, please? Right? We're modeling simple words that are just easier for them to get going, to have something meaningful to try saying. All right, so when that car comes down, you go, mine. Um, and then maybe you say, oh, yours. Maybe you take turns and get a little bit of that turn taking going. Um, if it, is stressing your child out, you can not do it, or you can say, you can wait for 2 to come out and then say mine, yours, and do them at the same time. Um, there's lots of ways that you can modify that, but try that mine word to practice that sound, and also a really functional word. Okay. Um, Oh, we have our classic moo, right? The cow sound is a great way to start introducing that word. Now, if you're playing with a little cow, I would encourage you to hold it by your mouth when you're making the moo sound, and maybe drag out that sound a little. So moo, right? And maybe you're doing that during Old McDonald's. Maybe you have a little barn set, maybe you have some bath toys, maybe there's a cow in a book that you're reading, you can hold it by your mouth. The reason I encourage you to hold things by your mouth is because it lets your child connect the sounds that you're making with the item that you're referencing. It helps make that sound meaning connection a little bit stronger. So hold that cow by your mouth, prolong that sound a little bit, and say moo in a fun, engaging, playful way. There's always more. I always encourage you to use the sign when you're doing more. It's just such a useful one. Some kids do tend to take more and run with it, and all of a sudden more is their word for everything. We want to definitely catch that if it's happening, but I still think more is just such a great way to work on requesting early on. Consider Minnie Mouse if your child loves Disney. Minnie. Again, we can hold our Minnie doll right next to our mouth to make that connection, so that they're really looking at your face and what you're doing to make that sound and connecting the meaning to Minnie. And like we talked about a little bit in the beginning, that is a great way to practice getting the lips together, turning the voice on, and getting that sound going. Is great. You notice that I tap my chin every time I do it. That way, if your child's not quite up to making the sounds and figuring out how to put all that together, they have another way to communicate the idea, right? So they can still copy your action, and you get you see that you're talking about the same thing. You're on the same page. I love for looking for things. If you're disorganized like me, this comes up often because I'm saying, where did I put that piece of paper? But you can absolutely play hide and seek sorts of games where you hide something, go look for it, and do that. Where is it? So I'm using lots of gestures. You can hear my voice is going up and down in an exaggerated way. And then with all of these sounds that we're going to talk about, a great way to help a child who's having some difficulty figuring out what to do with all of their muscles to make these sounds is to play in the mirror, making some silly faces in the mirror. You can even practice maybe humming a little bit for the M sound. Right? Our lips are together, the air's coming out of our nose. For humming, it's a great way to get that sound going. Okay, so I hope that these tips were helpful. I will be back every Thursday. What's today? Every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Excuse me, for a short little video. This was 15 minutes. The next one might be 10 minutes. I don't want these to take over your day, but I want you to keep them in the back of your mind. And please, please, please let us know if you try some of these things and how they go. Okay, post right in the group, and definitely come back next week for the next one. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Feel free to post in the group or send me a DM if you have any questions. So I'm gonna check the comments real quick. Oh, and if you watched this whole thing, give me a shout out. Say, if you're watching it now, say hi. If you watched on the replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know that these are helpful and that you want these to keep coming. All right. Thanks for being here, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.